Thank you so much for coming in early, starting an early day.
It's not early for me. I'm usually here by now anyhow.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
So, for Ladies and More, you've had the store how many years? 5 years?
October 1st, 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the reason behind this? How did you get started in this? Did you wake up one day and say, I want to have a store?
Yes and no. I mean, it was always a dream of mine to do something, a cute boutique in a quaint area.
Okay.
I didn't really wake up one day just to do it, but I was in employee benefits for 30 years. And I loved what I was doing and whatnot, but it was time to do something else. It was time to move on into what I call my retirement career.
Sure. Because
so
it's such an easy job to run a small
I
business.
found out, oh my God, it's so easy to run a small business and take care of all these clothes, look through clothes all day long. But I didn't want to have to travel all the time anymore,
Okay.
and that type of thing. And it just kind of made sense to do something like this with the boutique. And,
Okay.
when I started looking into it a little bit more, it was like, do I bring in all new stuff? And I've always been a resale shopper all my
Okay.
life, you know, whether it's a consignment or eBay or whatever the case was. And it just made sense for a lot of different reasons. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Now
that's
this is a family business, truly. So 4 Ladies and More.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that. How'd you come up with that name?
Well, the 4 is a play on the word. The play on the word 4. It's the number 4 because I have 4 daughters.
Sure.
Okay, and my store is for women or for ladies. FOR.
See, this is how dense I am. That never occurred to me.
Really?
Totally.
So it's
Wow.
like playing on, you know, I was trying to come up with a lot of different ideas, and it's like somehow or another I wanted to incorporate my daughters into
Yeah.
the name of the store.
Right.
And I couldn't figure out how to do it with their actual name. So then I thought, well, okay, I have four daughters, 4 ladies, and hence the play on the word 4.
That's brilliant, and clearly I'm not.
You know?
That's all
That's
right.
the only artistic idea that I have, because anything else artistic is not for me, it's for my daughters.
Well, it's interesting you say that because your daughters are artists.
They are.
You know, so they do some awesome window displays,
Yeah.
and you guys do some really cool stuff.
Yeah, they really do. I'm
Right.
more the analytical, crunch the numbers, price. I do all the pricing of
Okay.
all the product. I do 90% of the selection of the product. But anything you see in any of the displays, the window displays, my social media on Facebook, the posts, my emails, all that kind of stuff, those are all for my daughters. Because
fantastic.
my 2 oldest daughters, my oldest daughter does social media for a living anyhow. And then Lindsay is an artist. She's studying art at
Okay.
Akron U. And Kathleen, they work from that side of her brain.
That's
so,
cool.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? You say your daughter is in social media for a living. 10 years ago, people would say, what is that?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Fascinating change.
Yeah,
So
I know, isn't it?
Facebook has been a huge tool for you in
It
marketing the
is.
store.
It is. I do a lot of my advertising via Facebook. In
Okay.
fact, most of it I do now via Facebook. And we started asking customers when they come in, how did they find us?
Yeah.
And I find the majority of people, it's either word of mouth or Facebook.
So as a little girl, did you play dress up all the time? Like were you a fashionista as a girl, or is it just something that you just got into?
I think it's more I got into as an adult and having my
Okay.
own children and my own girls. I'm the 3rd of 7 in my family. And,
Okay.
you know, it was one of those things, and God loved my parents for doing it because they gave us a great work ethic.
Sure.
I started working for my father from the time we were kids at home and helping him stuff mailers and things like that for his job.
Okay.
And I was working after school from the time I was 16 years old. So not that I didn't have time to play dress up or that kind of stuff. I
Sure.
always focused more on working, career, that kind of stuff as a kid and
Yeah.
kind of going forward. But I think that's helped me manage and be able to run a business
Sure.
now, because I don't think otherwise I would have been able to do that.
How has Medina responded to the store? How's the community supporting you? Is it something? Is there a stigma to a resale shop?
Medina has totally embraced me and my
Okay.
store, and I love it. And I have made some new friends since I've opened the store. And, you know, that first year when I was open, there were many a days, not only myself, but my family was saying, oh my gosh, what is she doing? And within that first year, it just keeps growing and growing and growing, and we get more and more customers. I think there's always a stigma to resale. I can tell if somebody walks in and they don't realize it's a resale store and that's not their cup of tea, and that's fine.
Sure.
And they leave. I try to bring in, and I'm bringing in more and more new things now, so
Okay.
that way it will kind of get every nook and cranny. So if somebody doesn't
Sure.
want to look at something pre-owned, well, I have new items as well, whether it's accessories or tops or scarves
Okay.
or something like that.
How do you decide what to put in the store and what not? I mean, fashion is such a volatile
It is.
area.
And it's ever changing.
Right.
And that's where I look at my daughters again for direction
Okay.
with that, seriously. I would say that we probably, our clientele ages are probably between 18 and up. But primarily, we're looking at the mid-20s to the late 50s, early 60-year-old
Interesting.
market.
Okay.
So it's still a diverse fashion sense for that way. But we try to keep things on trend. When we accept things, we don't accept things more than like 4 years old, so that they're still going to be current styles, current
Okay.
trends. And what they're wearing out in California is not necessarily what they're going to be wearing in Ohio this
Right,
year, but
right.
it may be coming down the line. So we kind of keep our eye out for that.
So you mentioned in an off comment nook and cranny, but to that end, you started with a pretty small store,
We did.
and now you are in every nook and cranny.
We are.
How big is the store now? Like roughly how many square feet?
I would say that we are about 2,200 square feet.
That's big.
It is big.
That's a big, small
and it
store.
And it is broken up, as you know. I mean, it's 5, 6 different rooms.
Sure.
So there is a lot of nooks and crannies and different rooms, and you have to go down a hallway to get to various different rooms and whatnot. But to me, it's kind of fun that way because you never know what you're going to find around the corner.
Right.
And it's fun that people come in and they say, "Oh my gosh, I'm used to people coming in and never looking me in the eye as they're talking to me because they're looking around at all the little nooks and crannies and whatnot."
I'm guilty of that.
Which is great, and that's what I want because you never know what you're going to find down closer to the floor or up high closer to the
Yeah.
ceiling or something like that. So it's fun. It's fun to try to fill all those different little places.
People that may not be familiar with a resale shop, what would someone expect, or what would their experience be when they come in as far as the merchandise and the price? How have you fit in your niche in the market?
When somebody comes in the store and they're not familiar, or if they want to bring items in for the first time, I let them know we do current styles, so it's got to be better brands. We're not looking. You can go with a Kohl's coupon or a Target coupon or something like that and buy something next to nothing,
Right.
brand new, and that's fine and that's great. But what we want to do is bring to the customers those brands that they're not going to pay full price for. The J. Crews and the Ann Taylors and Cachet and various different, Coach and Dooney and Burke's and things like that
Okay.
typically brand new are going to cost $75+ or more, right? So we bring them in. A lot of times they come in still with the tags on them, price tags on them,
Okay.
and we will price them depending on the brand and what the item is. It could be anywhere from half to a quarter off to third off or more of what they would pay brand new in the stores.
Sure.
And they're still getting the good quality, but yet they're not having to pay the high dollars for it.
Yeah.
And unlike a thrift store where they, take just about anything no
Right,
matter what the
right.
condition is, we're very selective. We're not going to take anything that's got a tiny spot on it or a tiny snag on it or whatever. We do the work for them so that
Okay.
they know when they're looking through our racks, they're finding merchandise in pristine condition.
Is it difficult having a resale store that you're dependent on stuff coming in?
I have never had an issue with getting merchandise. And there again, we advertise, what we're taking, when we're taking it. I actually have people, especially with my furs that I have in the right now in the fall and the winter, I have people shipping them to me from across the country.
Wow.
And I do get people that maybe they were in my store at one point in time and now they've moved someplace else. They'll ship me items.
So do you buy the stuff outright, or is it consignment, or both?
Primarily it's consignment, but
Okay.
we will buy outright at times depending on what the situation is.
And it's only women's clothing?
It's only women's clothing.
So if women have stuff that they want to consign or make room in the closet for a new season, they come in, they arrange an appointment with you guys, and
They don't
you do
even
the
need an
deal.
appointment. They come in whenever they want.
Really?
We take every day up to an hour before we close each day.
Okay.
And we just ask, we tell them our criteria, no more than 3-4 years old, clean, obviously clean, good condition,
Yeah.
wrinkle-free, all that kind of stuff. Whatever we select, we set the price on it, and when it sells, they get 50% of what we sell it for.
Nice.
And they can take the cash or they can use it as store credit and buy something else. And we have a lot that do both, some that only always take cash, and some
Yeah.
that always just use it in the store.
For a long time, you were kind of the standalone on that side of the square,
Yes.
waiting for some of the restaurants to open, and I know that was a bit of a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
How have you seen the community overall and the community in the square change in the past few years?
There are a lot more people coming to the square now. I get, every once in a while a customer will come in and say, oh, I haven't been to the square in forever, but somebody told me about your store, so now I'm here. And they say they're amazed. It's like, oh my gosh, we didn't know there were all these shops, and now there's all these restaurants. And I think
Nice.
it is, I notice a lot more hustle and bustle.
Okay.
Sundays, we opened on Sundays,
Yeah, how's that been working?
Awesome.
Really?
It is going very, very well. We will continue doing it. Sometimes my Sundays are better. This past Sunday was better than what I had yesterday
Wow.
on a Tuesday.
fantastic.
Yeah, so you see more and more people, and I think that's part of all the shops and the community and the events and whatnot
Yeah.
that are going on down here, that people are spending their weekends walking around the square, checking out the shops and whatnot.
You have an amazing storefront, so you get to watch the square all day
Love
long,
that.
see what goes on.
I do.
Do you have a favorite building? Is there one that when you drive through town, it speaks to you, or one that's interesting to you?
Well, I always think that the fire station with the red is
Yeah.
always really cool, and I love to see, that is definitely a focal point for brides and bridal parties to have pictures taken in front of, and that's always fun to watch.
Sure.
In the wintertime and during the holiday season, when the square is lit up, when I leave after dark, sometimes I'll just drive a couple times or take a
Yeah.
loop around the square just a couple of times, because I just love the lights
cool.
on all the buildings and the towers and everything.
How does your husband fit into all of this? Does he just say, "Oh, you girls just go do your thing"?
Well, he's a big supporter, obviously, because
You have to be.
he has to be, because I left a well-paying job to try to start a new business,
Sure.
and saying, hey, honey, this is what I'm going to do. No, he's a big supporter. He's done, between he and my father, they did all the painting in the store. He's built all my racks, that type of thing. And he supports us. He doesn't do a lot of, unless I need something fixed or a new rack build or something like that, he stays away. And it's,
He's not dropping in.
he's not dropping in. There's no reason for him to drop in. He does play security during Candlelight Walk weekend and things like that.
Sure.
But no, he's a huge supporter. He really is. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to do it.
What forecasting fashion again it changes so much.
It's constant.
What are some of the trends that you guys see coming up, or some of the things that you're following, or
Well-
things that you think would sell in Medina? What's coming up from Medina?
Well, definitely what's huge this season are the shawls, ponchos,
Okay.
vests, faux vests, real vests.
So like 70s inspired?
70s inspired is coming back.
Really?
Yeah. The boot socks to go in your boots or over your boots, any of those kind of accessories, chunky necklaces, a lot of 70s inspired
Okay.
is coming back.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me today, Sue. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. It's
I
always a
appreciate-
pleasure to
You
talk
too,
with
Matt.
you and hear more about the shop.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate everything you do too.